don't have any minutes right now, right, Ashley?
No
To approve. So we'll zip right past that. And I just want to take a second and introduce John Shalby to the people that just came in. He's a new member of the EDC. The select board appointed him at their September 1st meeting. And John is he's got quite a resume behind him, and he's really involved in the community. Forward Norwood guy, but we'll let that go. And yeah, I think he's going to be a real positive step for us and be a valuable member. So I'd like to introduce John to everybody.
Well, John,
Welcome. And we do have another member, but a new member, but she's not here, so we'll wait for her to join at our next meeting. I'm not sure if she was sworn in, but I know John was, so we're good to go in that respect. One other thing before I get to the director's update, which I believe you're going to make, right, Ashley?
As far as I know, yeah.
Well, you put it on there, so I figured you had some big announcement. No, I just wanted to say that, as everyone knows, John Hassenjaeger tendered his resignation on July 31st. The resignation was accepted by the select board and Jim Johnson. And I just wanted to publicly thank John for almost 20 years of service on the EDC and, close to 40 years of continued service to the town of Walpole. And, he'll be missed. He was very, as everyone knows, was not afraid to speak his mind. And he did a lot of good work for Walpole over the years, especially for the EDC. And I wish him well, and we were glad to have him. So having said that, now, Ashley, it's all yours.
Well, thank you. So I just have some updates that I want to share with everyone. The first is that Walpole, if you haven't heard, we received a grant for about $90,000 to go towards micro businesses. Micro businesses are businesses that have 5 or fewer employees, including the owner, and it's not full-time equivalents, so just 5 employees. They can apply for up to $10,000 in grant money, which is money that doesn't have to be paid back, to help offset the impact of COVID. We have a webinar set up on the 16th of September at 2 p.m. That'll be by Zoom. It'll also be recorded, so if anyone can't make it, I'll get that link out to everybody. But it's an opportunity really to speak with the grant expert on kind of what can qualify, what can't qualify, and what can be expected during the application process. So I can answer any questions that you might have on that. I don't know too much though, so.
But the grant person will be on that call?
Yes, so it's
that's good.
We got through CDBG, the CARES Act. So Walpole's not what's called an entitlement community, so we don't normally deal with CDBG grants, and federal grants are very complicated to deal with. So we did a regional application with 5 other communities, including Bellingham and Foxborough. So we all kind of pulled together to make it a more competitive application, which is actually kind of neat. So the first round, Walpole folks get a shot at $90,000. If we use up all those $90,000, great. And then there'll be a second round. So if some communities aren't able to distribute that money, Walpole businesses can get a second chance at getting funding. So it's kind of a way to share the grant administration, because it's very complicated, it's very technical, and it's something I know nothing about. So I believe I sent the flyer out to everyone. If you know of businesses that may be interested, please share with them. So any other questions about the grant? Sarah?
And I know I'm not really a part of this, but can you just repeat again the call, the date of the call? And then is that open to, is that like a public meeting that we can tell any business about, or you have to be invited?
So Sarah, I'll send you the flyer, but it's September 16th at 2 p.m. It's a Zoom kind of webinar. Anyone can come. It's not a public meeting. It's not a board covering it. It's just mostly planners who are working with this grant, and it's getting businesses who might be interested, because the planners like me don't really know the specifics of what goes into being, you have to get income qualified and you have to show like statements, and it's like very involved. So hopefully it's a good resource, because the important part is that businesses are ready to apply when the application opens, because it'll only be open for a 2-week window. So whatever folks can do now to set themselves up to be able to quickly get their application materials in would be a good idea. And I'll send you the flyer, Sarah, so we can get that out to folks.
Okay.
Ashley, my question was, how is that reach out going to the businesses? Are we just doing it by word of mouth, or is obviously Harry knows, and Chamber and Sarah as well with Destination Downtown. Is there other avenues that it's being done to reach out?
So any suggestions you have would be great. I sent it out to all the EDC members, hoping that you all would share with your networks. Sarah, I'll get it to you, and hopefully you could share on Destination Downtown. I have a list of, I sent out a survey asking businesses if they had 5 or fewer, like way back when. And from that, I think I probably have about 50 businesses that self-certified as having 5 or fewer employees. So I'm blasting that list based on the survey responses. But really, if you have any ideas, or if you have any places where you can share, it would be great.
And can you put an ad in the papers, like local papers?
Yeah, we could. We did let 2 papers know, and they put a thing about it. I think once we get the application open, it'll be good to be able to send that out as well. Right now, there's no application.
Yeah, but aren't you saying that they should be ready to go when the application does open? So we should be doing it now?
So that's what the webinar is hopefully going to help businesses understand what information they need to be collecting now, so that when the application does open, they're in a better position to get their materials in. I just don't know what exactly that is, and there's no link to an application that I can give people.
Okay, but I guess what Sarah's saying is maybe putting it out now in the papers so that they're aware that there's a webinar where they could get the information to put in, to get, the one step prior to that webinar is for them to have the information and to know about it rather. I think it wouldn't be a bad idea to put an ad in the papers to get that out, and also get it up on the web as much as you can, either through the rec department or
on the town website, and you can have the town Twitter and.
Yeah, we'll do that. This came about like end of last week, and I will say when we did the notice in the paper the first time around, I did have a couple people actually reach out and say, "Oh, I saw I saw the notice in the paper," and I was like, "Oh, great! People read it. That's great." So, yeah, however we can get it out there is best.
Okay.
Hey, Ashley, one idea, maybe reaching out to the local banks in Walpole, to either the loan officers that know their customers that are in Walpole that may be a good fit for this. They could reach out to them and help them as well.
That's a great idea. Thank you. I will do that.
And actually, you said it's 5 employees, not 5 FTEs, right?
Not FTEs. We tried.
Yeah.
They
5
didn't.
employees.
We tried.
And Ashley, you mentioned it was up to 5K per recipient. Is that true? No? Yes. Hi.
10,000.
10,000. Okay.
Okay, that's good news.
Yeah. So that's the grant. So also so I've got an event I want to talk to you about, and that's why Sarah is here, but I wanted to mention that there are 2 economic development oriented warrant articles. They're to allow outdoor dining and outdoor entertaining by right. Right now, if you don't have 1,000 feet of frontage, which if anyone can show me a business that has 1,000 feet of frontage, I would love to know. In Walpole, I would love to know what building that is. So if you don't have 1,000 feet, you need to go through and get a special permit with the Zoning Board of Appeals, which is, it can be a long process, it can be expensive, and with COVID, and even not in COVID, I think that if we can make it by right and just have a local licensing where we can do limited site plan review as appropriate, it would help folks get things done faster. I'm calling it the Footloose articles, which some people.
Actually, with that, how about the malls? Could they cooperate? They could make up 1,000 feet. You know, we have 3 of them, or 4 actually, I guess.
Yeah.
Could cooperate with an outdoor event.
So if they have 1,000 feet of frontage, it's just allowed by right. So they're already covered. But I don't know of one individual business that meets that requirement. So I just think it's an interesting, I'd like to know the history of how that got there. But so these articles, I believe they're on FinCom, but any support that you do for those, you know, with your networks, that would be great. I don't think, and it's not just COVID, I think in general, it's good economic development for folks to be able to have outdoor dining where it's appropriate, but especially with COVID. I think that the temporary lifts that the ABCC has done and the governor's legislation that basically lifted all zoning requirements, that's how we're able to have all the outdoor dining that we do, is because they waived all zoning requirements. But, you know.
So Ashley, how is this going to affect this, well, you said there's 2 warrant articles, right? How does that affect those businesses that are associated with using the town land? I assume it's directing private land, and how does it bump into the public land?
So it was 2 articles, but now it's combined into one, and it's outdoor dining and outdoor entertainment. Entertainment includes things like TVs and music, so you have to get a license if you have a TV or if you want to play music. So that we're including that, and if someone wants to have live music outside. So what this does is it takes the zoning issue out of the way. So it says zoning says it's by right, so you don't need a special permit. So like Raven's Nest and Tessie's, they have a lease with the town where they're leasing that property. If they wanted to continue to do that, that would be an agreement with the select board. So that it doesn't change any of the licensing schemes or those approvals that you would need. It just gets the zoning portion simplified.
Ashley, will the select board have a mechanism in place to allow alcohol in the new space without having to go to the state? Because it is town-owned property, the sidewalks and whatnot, just to streamline that part of the process?
Yeah, so that would be, my understanding of it is they would need to have a lease agreement with the town, which we've set up, which is how they're able to do it now. And they would need to alter their premises to include that area. And they need a lease agreement to do that.
So they would have to apply for a change of premise with the state.
Yeah, right now the ABCC has put that entirely in the local authorities' hands. So folks don't have to go back to the ABCC. We're just notifying the ABCC, but unless that gets changed permanently, which I think would be great, because I think local municipalities, I think Walpole's done a really good job reviewing these applications for safety and that everyone's following the rules. So hopefully, I don't know if we'll get a permanent change, but I think that I think people have seen how nice it is to have outdoor dining, and I think that there's a lot of support for it. So hopefully that is good news going into next spring, summer.
One technical question I have with that is, I don't know if you know the answer or not. When you say enter into a lease, will it be a seasonal lease? And will they be responsible for that portion of their sidewalk? And will that end at some point? Like, they're not going to be responsible for like snow removal and things like that unless they already are, correct?
Correct. So you would want to do it seasonally because permanent outdoor dining triggers things like bathroom requirements.
Right.
So if you do it on a seasonal basis or more temporary basis, you don't have to recount how many bathrooms are required and make people
Sure.
add stalls.
Okay. That's good news.
Actually, were there seasons put into the warrant?
So that would be, so the warrant is just to make it as of right. It's to get rid of the zoning barriers that exist. All the licensing things would need to be sorted out, and the select board could do that at their level.
So there's been no dates applied to that then?
No dates, no, because it's a separate thing from a zoning warrant article.
We should go in and support that when it goes before the selectmen as EDC.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree.
I assume we'll be notified of when that takes place, Ashley, and stuff.
Yeah, I think we're rolling out. I don't know if the planning board's decided when they're having their hearing yet. Hopefully we know soon.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you wanna go and support, I would suggest also having, one or more persons there at the planning board because they would be holding the public hearing as it is a change of zoning. So it would be important for EDC to be represented there. And then just a point of clarification, I'm looking at the article right now. So this applies to the districts, business, central business district, highway business, and limited manufacturing. Those are the actual zones that previously required the special permit and now are being proposed as of right. Just for everybody to understand.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So the licensing would need to, if this gets approved, we'll put a licensing scheme in place. It'll probably be tied to like the liquor license renewals, which they do every year, or something that makes sense, but it doesn't require a town meeting vote to do that.
Okay.
Those are the Footloose articles. Then the last thing is I've been working with Sarah through Destination Downtown on planning an event, non-event. So we're calling it Uncommon Art Walk, and it's scheduled for October 3rd from noon to 3. And what the plan is to have, I think, about 10 or 13 different artists set up tables with their art that they can sell, kind of like a farmer's market. And there's one area that would be roped off called the consumption corner. So we've been working with De Bovino Winery to do wine tasting and hopefully get like a smoothie table or maybe the ice cream truck out there. It would all have to be contained because you can't walk around and wear a mask. Like you can't drink wine in a mask. Someone should invent that mask. But there'll be one area where you can consume beverages, no food or anything like that, as far as I know. And basically, it would just be a few hours on a Saturday for people to come down, taste some wine from the local winery, and look at some art. And hopefully some ambiance music, not concerts, because we can't do concerts, but hopefully we can do ambiance music. So I don't know, Sarah, if you wanted to add anything, but we're basically looking for your support for this event. I'm going to the select board on the 15th. Ask them for approval to close Elm Street and to do the event.
What is the date, please?
October 3rd.
Okay. I thought I saw something about September, okay, October 3rd.
I think it's a great idea. Anytime we can bring action to a downtown, helps out the businesses, it helps out any sort of visibility. It'll help out in the long run.
You can stay, John.
All right.
Are the artists already selected?
We are in
Are
the
the
process. Yeah, we're in the process of taking applications, talking with artists. It's artists and musicians that we're looking for. So we're looking for a few musicians to do performance / ambiance where they will go at that pavilion to perform, and we're really looking to support local artists to showcase their work and to give them an opportunity to sell their work. The town is okayed for artists and musicians to sell their work at the event. There's also a component that we're still working out the details, but that's so that we can support Walpole and especially downtown businesses during this event, where we'd ask the businesses to maybe offer a discount or something for people that attend the event. So to help facilitate that, you know, people come to the event and also, you know, stay and support downtown businesses. So we're working on that, and we're working on maybe setting up a station to help people order from local restaurants, and then we'd have the restaurants come deliver the food at the town common, so people who attend events can, you know, enjoy the art and the music and take their food and enjoy that also on the common.
How do you get one of these applications? Who do you apply to?
It can apply to Destination Downtown, and we have an email, or you can reach out to me directly. My email is Sarah, S-A-R-A-H, the number 4, Walpole, W-A-L-P-O-L-E, @gmail.com. And I will get you. I will just say it for the mass audience that's watching, in case they would like to email. Our downtown email is ddwalpole. So the letter D like dog, W-A-L-P-O-L-E @gmail.com. You can also reach out there with your interest.
Well, I think it's a good idea. I know people are kind of bummed out, but we're expecting that Main Street Live was not going to happen this year. And I think that, I think this is great. You know, the one group of people that are really getting crushed right now are the smaller independent artists, both musicians, physical art, any performance art. You know, they're really getting crushed because they're not able to get in front of people, and they're not able to get the kind of jobs that they would ordinarily get to supplement their careers, to keep the doors open, if you will. So Sarah, I think this is a great idea, and you know, speaking for myself, you know, I support it completely. So I'm happy to lend support to that for sure.
Okay, and there's one other thing that I just wanted to mention. I spoke with a local artist today, and she's interested in doing a community art project. So that's something that, you know, the community, as they come to the event, will actually participate in creating a piece of artwork. So that I think is
something on the side of one of Danelle's buildings downtown.
No, you know, it's going to be a structure with fabrics and other materials. But I thought it was a great idea for the time that we're in, you know, to have people create art, and to have the community participate in it together, but separately, you know, not all next to each other. They can take turns and participate in that. And in the end, end up with, you know, a great piece of art that our community made.
That sounds great, Sarah. Sarah, do you know if, I'm assuming is this going to be like a family event, or are you looking for any kind of demographic in particular, or is it more like a family thing?
You know, family, individual, come as you are. Yeah.
Will there be like anything for kids there, like an ice cream truck or anything like that?
Yeah, I'm working on getting ice cream, and we're going to encourage all the artists and musicians to, you know, have something for the children in the community that can come by to help them interact with art or music or something that gives them something to do, and you know, helps them appreciate whatever that artist or musician is trying to share with the community.
Sounds good. Anybody else have anything? Sarah, do you need any support or help from the EDC at all on this event?
Well, as you know, artists and musicians aren't making a lot of money. So if there's any kind of monetary contribution that you'd be interested in sponsoring any artist or musician, I'm sure they would appreciate that. For example, this artist that I spoke with that, wants to do this community project, I asked her, are you going to supply the material or are you looking for, sponsorship for that? And she said probably a little bit of both. So if that's something that the EDC would like to support, we will facilitate directing that to the artists.
All right, that's something we can certainly talk about. And you said something about being able to order from restaurants and then they would deliver it to possibly. I mean, we could probably.
Yeah, that's one idea. We wanted to set up a station. Mark McAuliffe, who's on the board with us, wanted to find a way to support downtown restaurants, and we completely agree with that. Having the restaurants in the event, preparing food and things like that is kind of a big challenge, but we did definitely want to support them. So we came up, I think maybe it was Ashley's idea of doing like a coupon or like offer a discount for people that come to the event to then support the businesses. And we, hope the businesses would help support the event as well. So Mark suggested to make it easy, we could set up a station so people can order the food, and then the businesses can come, contactless, deliver the food, and make it all, user-friendly and family-friendly. And
So just so I'm clear, though, you're not planning on having any kind of food trucks or anything like that?
No.
Truck. Yeah.
Sorry.
Just like juice and ice cream and the wine, so.
Yeah, we didn't want to bring any food in to compete with the local businesses. That just didn't feel right. And for lots of reasons, including we're in COVID, so we need to also not have crowds. So we're trying to balance out all of these different things. And I love the table. So like how I'm picturing is there'll be a table with a volunteer who has, maybe we'll do a QR code where people can pull up all the menus for the restaurants that are gonna opt into this. And then that person can also facilitate calling, hey, do you have a table available now for 4? I have people here who wanna come down, or setting up reservations in the restaurant or placing orders for folks. And then maybe we can even have a couple of volunteers running food. So just a way to kind of bring. And then I think we'll have tables outside of the footprint of the event so that our numbers stay within what we're required within the footprint, but folks can still enjoy sitting outside and, get their pizza or burger or whatever it is. And eat in common. So,
Speaking of that, what is the number that they've given you for inside the event?
50, including vendors.
Really?
As of right now,
State thing?
that's 50 is the maximum number for event right now, but things are changing almost daily, so we're gonna kind of have to see how it goes when we get to October 3rd.
Yeah, that's too bad, because that's a big area. That's you put 300 in Walmart and it's about the same size.
Right, so we're carving out the event footprint, and then there's still a good portion of the common that's not in our footprint.
Good.
Not in our event, that's not in our number count, so people can,
Yeah, no, that's a good idea. That's good. Maybe we could get to know, bring up some fencing all the way around again. And
that's something that I would appreciate help figuring out, is how we actually barricade, not barricade, that sounds really dramatic. Outline the footprint so it's clear, and you really want people to going in through one entrance so that we can, give them the info on the businesses downtown and also kind of keep track of numbers.
Well, what we do is we usually put an electric fence up and then have cattle prods at every entrance.
That kind of
we just keep sending them back in. You didn't buy enough. Get back in there.
Now, can you order either soft drinks or alcohol if you order from the restaurants, or does that require a license of some sort?
That would require the select board approving consumption, and it would also create like issues around. So we'd have to then barricade off the whole area, and there'd be. So we have our like wine corner that's going to be roped off, and the Deb Avino is committed to having tip certified servers and putting wristbands on folks so it's easy to identify. If we opened it up to, it would need support of the select board, and there'd be logistics that we'd need to figure out that I just don't know if we have the capacity to do that. But
No. Soft drinks would be okay, yeah?
Yeah.
Soft drinks would be okay.
Are the vendors just going to have tables, or do you view like pop-ups and things like that? What are you envisioning in your head? Because sometimes the vendor positions themselves can create the barrier that you're looking for.
So that's what, for the back end on Front Street.
Yeah.
On the mat, vendors, a line where people aren't going to walk behind people, but it's the other side of Elm Street. But we'll have to see how many people sign up and whatnot. But I think if anyone has roping that they'd like to
Yeah,
let
I
us
was gonna say that actually, at my office building, I got a lot of the Main Street Live stuff down there. So DPW always helps us out with the cones in terms, or they used to, in terms of roping off before we went to hard barriers. So DPW should be able to help you out with cones. I got plenty of roping, and I probably have, what do we have, 6 or 7 pop-up tents?
Yeah.
10 by 10, you know, those pop-up tents or whatever. We have some of those that are at my office at 7 West Street too, if you want to use those.
great.
And DPW.
That's good. I've been telling the artists that they need to supply their own. But that would be great if if we talk with somebody that would really like one, but they don't have one. So
Yeah.
That's great to know. Thank you.
And DPW can provide like those traffic barriers as well. They have for us in the past anyway. I don't want to speak for them, but in the past they have, which can steer people, if you need to have one way in, one way out. And I don't know if that's what part of the state requirement is, but they can block off what are kind of like natural entrances so you can control it a little bit better.
Yeah.
So you might want to, hey, Danelle, do you know if Drew Hand is still in charge of that kind of thing, or would that be someone else now?
I think it's still Drew.
Okay.
Yeah, talk to Drew at DPW, and he's really helpful, and they might be able to at least provide something to allow your access control.
And Ashley, if you do rope off that ice cream, wine, and juice area, I do have signs that are in sheet protectors that say no alcohol beyond this point, that you can just wire tie to the ropes and stuff like that. I got a lot of those down at 7 West Street as well.
Oh, that would be great. Thank you. That'd be really helpful. So I would, if it sounds like you're supportive, I would love a vote of your support. So when I go to the select board next week, I can say, yes, I got a vote and they're supportive.
Are you anticipating any pushback from the select board?
I never predict anything, ever.
Well, the pushback
Smart person.
would be COVID related.
Yeah, I think the only hesitation they would have is trying to watch out for COVID, but I can't imagine anybody opposing this, especially with what they've approved in the past. And I think this is a great idea.
I'll move we support the effort of Sarah and the group.
Yeah, absolutely. So if
Accident.
somebody wants to make a motion, we can.
I just did.
Oh, did you just make? Is that what that was? Well, all right. So we have a motion to support this event and the Destination Downtown Group in this event. And do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstain? So Only one opposed, and that was Ashley, which I'm surprised with, but okay. Well,
Mark, just for reference, I believe the event's called Uncommon Act on the Common.
say that again?
I believe the title is Uncommon Act on the Common.
Yeah,
Uncommon art.
Uncommon art, right? On the
Yeah.
common.
Uncommon Act on the Common.
Ashley, should we write that up, or is that something that you can do? Do we need to write a letter of our support, or is it just the vote?
I was just gonna say that you guys voted to support it. I don't think we need to, I mean, we can write a memo, but. I feel
Yeah,
like-
whatever you think is right. I mean, I don't know what they want to see at the select board, but whatever you think is right.
Okay. Thank you all. And if anyone wants to
Thank
volunteer,
you.
you're free on the third.
And Sarah, also be, if you need any logistical help or just advice on the music and performance side of it, just shoot me an email or whatever, and I can help walk you through it.
Okay, yeah, that'd be great.
I guarantee I've made all the mistakes that you might make trying to do this, so let's not make them twice.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, do we have anything else on the agenda, Ash?
I just wanted to note that Sarah and I have both been working closely with Melissa, our health director, on guidance, which is what has kind of informed like the layout and the one entrance. And we'll continue to do that. So I feel like health COVID wise, we're being as careful as we can in following the regulations as close as, as we need to. I don't think we have anything else on the agenda. No, I
Don't
think
we have membership discussions?
Oh, yeah, which maybe I'm looking at the time here and we've got like 10 minutes or so, but maybe we can just like put the big picture in place, Mark, and people can kind of be thinking about it for the next meeting.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if, Janelle, were you on, and Ken, were you on when I introduced John before, John Shelby?
Yes.
Okay, and we have one other
Meg?
new member. Bye, Sarah.
Bye, thank you all.
Thank you. I sent her an email earlier today, and she just wrote back that she's on vacation. Wish she could have been here, which I get, no problem at all. So we'll meet her at the next meeting. Where does that leave us, Ashley, in terms of our membership count?
So there's one more spot open.
One more full voting member spot open, and then we must have at least 2 or 3 associate members, right?
Pulling it up now. I don't think so. I think there's just one more spot open.
But we also had associates as well.
Typically, we had a fairly large number of associate members as well.
Okay.
Spots available. We never really had them all filled.
So it's written as a 9-member board, including the non-voting member. And I've tried to find your ratification articles, and I can't. Anyway, Ken, maybe you have them. So I don't know. If there are associate members.
So you're saying there's 8 full-time and 1 associate?
No. One liaison for the chamber.
9 full-time, 1 liaison, which is Harry.
Yeah.
And then there should be, I can't remember the number, but there should be either 3 or 5 associate members, non-voting members.
Do you know where it says that?
I don't know, but when I first came in,
Okay.
there was an associate spot available. So that's how I got in. And I remember coming to those first meetings, and those tables were jammed. I mean, we must have had at least, 13, 14, 15 people at those meetings.
Yeah.
So I believe it's 9 plus 1 for the full-time board, the plus 1 being the chamber, and then either 3 or 5, and I'm sorry I don't remember, but either 3 or 5 associate non-voting members. of which we have one filled now.
I'll check my notes and see if I have anything on it.
That would be
That'd be
great.
great, Ken, because, you know, it should be written some, you know who would know that, Ashley, is, Patrick Shield.
We've tried to find it. I can't find your, my next stop is to the state,
Would it be at the town clerk's office?
potentially.
Patrick has pulled it up for me before, just so you know,
Your,
what we had and what we needed to fill, and he had it.
okay.
This was months and months and months ago when we were talking about it, like in the early pre-COVID. So, but he was able to find it at that point of what our roster is and what it should be, numbers wise.
So are we still out there advertising for members, then I take it? Well, the selectmen, and they have it on the town website and everything?
Yeah, it should be still up there since we
Okay.
still have that position.
John, how did you find out that we were looking for members?
I was approached by Glenn, a guy named Glenn, and another guy asked him to get on. So just like word of mouth.
So by word of mouth, okay. All right.
So Ashley, you're not, I thought you were looking for something. I can always tell when you're, like you were looking something up on your screen, so I was kind of waiting for you. But
I was just thinking.
Okay.
That was me thinking. I was looking for something in my brain. So the other thing that we wanted to do, which I don't think we have time tonight to give it the attention that I think it needs and deserves. But basically, Mark and I had a phone call and kind of talked about like next steps and EDC and how to, and I realized that I don't know very much about what any of you actually do. And I don't know what skills you have. I don't know what you, I don't know how to say this in that one. Bring to the, like
What expertise?
what expertise. So like if, I have a specific problem, it'd be great to know like, oh, you know who I can bug about that? I can call Kevin, or I can call John, or I can call Donnell. I mean, some of it I know. And since we're adding 2 new members, we kind of talked about having just a session where everyone shared kind of their background and what they like about the EDC, what they want to get out of it, and what they want to put into the EDC. But I think it's going to take more than
Oh my God, seriously?
Beth, did you unmute on purpose? That sounded like a Donald Trump hot mic right there.
I don't think she was talking to us.
Yeah, actually, that's a good idea. Maybe we could put that on the next agenda, and that would give people some time to, kind of make their notes, and we could be real efficient with it at that. Or we could send you something each individually, and you could kind of put a roster together with what those individual attributes are, and then you would have that, to do as what you will, whether you wanted to, just have it for your own use or distribute it with the EDC, or put it on the EDC page, whatever you'd want to do.
Since we're adding 2, and maybe we can wait till we have a 3rd new member, just thought it might be helpful for the new members to kind of know who they're working with.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Nope. I like it, and we could have that. Let's put it on the agenda for next time, I guess, and we'll go from there with it.
Sure.
Let's see. All right. Does anybody have anything else?
I just had a quick question. Just do we have set goals we want to work on for some sort of like long-term planning or short-term planning in 2020, 2021? I mean, I know the general goal, but do we have specific goals we want to meet, or are there, or is that something we just kind of shoot from the hip from?
Well, we've been working with the select board trying to work with the select board for quite a while to reestablish what our goals are, because in the past the goals were, the goals were more of a charge, so it was more general. And we just got through Ben Barrett a new rewritten charge, which is essentially the same thing, but it's written with some more modern verbiage, which is more relevant to the times we're in now as opposed to what they were 20 years ago. And now that we're building the board roster back up, I think it's a good time to take that charge and then start throwing some ideas that we could, that's our strategy. Now, what are the tactics, right? So let's start to get specific on some of the things that we can move on. So I guess to answer your question, John, yes, we have the general charge, but I think it would be great to start at our next meeting in trying to determine some specific goals and start working on them. 2020's just been, for like with everybody, a nightmare. We barely knew, what we were doing, much less trying to focus on specific goals. But I think we're in a good place right now, and we certainly have the support of the select board, and we have our charge. So I think it's a good time to start looking at what specific things we can do so we can start to be relevant and start to have an impact on the town, which is what we should have. And we haven't had that for about a year and a half right now, other than throwing the best party in town. And that is worth something, but it's not part of our, actual charge. So, that was a great question. And we definitely need to get on what the specifics are going to be and then start marching towards that. So that's a great question. Thank you.
So I'll add that.
Actually, are you ever in the office at town hall?
Oh, am I ever? Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
I have some records, old records that I should deliver to you.
that would be. Yeah, I'm in town hall mostly normal business hours.
I'll email you and tell you what I have.
That'd be great.
Okay.
Is town hall open yet? Like for the public or no?
It's open. Masks are required inside. Some things have been moved around. There's lots of plastic shields up.
Yeah.
And it's open.
If I could, just 3 quick things. One, we plan on meeting in person anytime soon. Is that being looked at, or finding a meeting room that will set us up or be able to?
Yeah.
On top of that, I just want to make sure that we're not missing out anybody that needs to formally come in front of us that we're missing out on.
As far as I know, nobody is needing to meet with you that couldn't on Zoom. But as far as I know, and in terms of meeting in person, the largest meeting room that we have in town hall can only accommodate, I think, 8 or 9 people max in the room.
Yeah.
And that includes local media.
Okay.
So we could do a hybrid type meeting where some people, the cat's in the picture. I think that means it's time for the meeting to end. But so we're right now the restrictions are just so tight on the numbers. You need 1,000 square feet. It's like 9 people or 8 people per 1,000 square feet. For an
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that we weren't missing somebody that needed to come before us, or that we're putting them off or whatever. I just want to make sure that if we need to meet, we meet. Either if we have to do it at.
Is that 1,000 square feet the doing the math on the separation, or is that like a specific? You need 1,000 square feet for 9 people, because it seems to me that in the main meeting room, you'd be able to get more than 9 people and be socially distanced in there. But again, I'm just asking the question. I don't know.
It's just what the regulations say. I've stopped trying to understand the logic behind them.
So that's state regs?
State, yeah. Walpole's following what the state is requiring. As far as I know, we're not. Some towns are imposing stricter regulations, but Walpole's following what the state requires. So
okay.
That's my answer on the in-person meetings. If we had all of us here, we couldn't do it. but you know, things are changing rapidly, so hopefully soon.
We'll see about that.
Right.
So,
All right. So
that's
if there's nothing else, someone wants to make a motion to,
One last thing, Mark, can you do
Yeah.
something about your lighting? For a guy does stages and lighting and everything, you need some lighting so you're not a silhouette on the camera.
you know, this time of day, the sun beats into this window behind me, so
All I can see is a silhouette.
you know, now you challenged me. I'm gonna have like dancers behind me next
Put some
time.
stage lighting in there.
Strobe lights, spotlights. I might even have some pyrotechnics.
it's like a 2020 interview where the person doesn't want
I'll have the voice
I
change.
should add, I should add, John, we're a pet-friendly group, so we've had cats appear before, so if you have an animal, feel free to bring them in.
I have my dog. Maybe next time I'll get the dog going.
There you go.
Okay,
That's good.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All right, do I have a second?
second,
All in favor?
second.
Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstained. John, thank you very much. We look forward to having you. Ashley, thanks again for all the help.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Thank you.